What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Little Luck Garage. My name is Lane. Today we are ripping out the 6-liter out of my 1998 Trans Am to diagnose what happened. We have a low oil pressure situation, LS problems, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna yank this thing out today, dive into it a little bit, and see if we can't figure out what happened, see how bad I'm gonna cry with the parts bill. So stay tuned, get yourself one of them cold beverages, adult soda, whatever you do. We're gonna find out just how bad I screwed up, okay? Let's get into it. Well, we're coming to you from underneath, in the spacious underneath of the Trans Am, which I don't know if it conveys very well, but it's, well, let's just say when I was being sarcastic. That was gonna be an issue. That's fun. Okay, let's see if, we gotta drain the oil here, and I'm expecting to find bad things. Let's see if that's true. It looks like one of them there strippers, which is kind of what I'm expecting. It's gonna be a bad day. Also, this is almost definitely gonna get on the header and make a mess. So, whatever. At least I acknowledged it. Oh yeah. Definitely just touched it right to the towel, but I don't know if you can tell it or not, but there's certainly some chunks. And the oil looks good. Minus the metal. For my scientific experiment. I don't know if y'all can tell already, but I see stuff. Shouldn't be able to, I mean, granted it's fresh oil, stuff like that, but shouldn't be able to draw, you know, latte art, coffee art in your oil. So yeah, she done. The devil's sparkle, you know what I'm saying? So I know what needs to happen. This engine's got to come out. I had talked about a little bit in my update video. I don't know if y'all saw that one, where I talk about some theories. So before I dive into this car a little bit, and I'll show you my little setup. I'm getting ready to just go into the zone here and just start yanking stuff everywhere. Not what I would recommend that you would do necessarily, but I've done this to these cars, this exact thing, only 17,000 times. And so real estate's a toughie. Fun little tip for you. Got this little like inflatable or like just pop up dog pool thing. Makes a great catch-all when you're draining, I don't know, fluids and stuff. I use it to drain some of the coolant. I'm gonna just let it pee and stuff, and I can catch all of it. It's really nice. It was like 10 bucks on Amazon. Great investment. I heard that little chirp, 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 which I talked about in the last video, and that is almost for sure a spun rod bearing in my opinion. But now that there's glitter in the oil, we gotta check everything, make sure that none of that trash has gotten in there. But in all reality, if you take them all out and clean them, and they'll look fine, they're probably all right. Every time I take bolts out that I cannot put immediately back in where they came from, I bag and tag it. Write a Sharpie, identify the bolts, keep all the bolts in a bucket. Okay? Nothing worse than putting a project back together and not having bolts. You wanna know how unbelievably down in your spirits you will be if you go to put a project back together and you just can't find bolts. If bolts are what's preventing you from horsepowers, you're gonna have a bad time. It's Good Friday over here. I'm hanging out with all my friends. Oh, that's right, I'm alone. But I'm out here, we're jamming. We're drinking our Dr. Peppers, and we're gonna get after it, okay? So, time-lapse goodness. Y'all gonna see another person. I got a friend with me. I have those. You don't, just because you don't see them doesn't mean, I mean, I got friends.
At least one.
Yeah, at least 3, I think, is the official number. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't Do not do what I'm about to do. And if you do, like, film it, but don't do it. Extendicizer! Yeah, I went ahead and bought one of them, you know, Hobo Freight deals, and it was too small. And I'm very space tight. I need a lot. I'm in a single bay. There's not a lot of room, so I'm getting that. And yeah, this one was too small. Wasn't gonna fit. So I did made the wrong decision, which makes a right move, you know what I mean? But we just went ahead and extended poled it. Be careful if you don't do this, is what you should not. But I'm gonna, because I've done it a lot. Anywho, or what? All in all, game plan here. I'm gonna try to just ease her out just a little bit and pop off the headers in the motion in one swing, and hopefully I don't have to hate my life for 2.5 hours underneath the car taking off the headers on an F-body, because if you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. So, pro tip, trying to pull these out of an LS F-body, take off the intake, the top 2 bell housing bolts, which are an absolute nightmare underneath the car. Really not too bad, the more you know. If you work on an F-body and you're in a comfortable position, you're doing it wrong. Okay. Wow, I have never done this with this much stuff still in here. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. Yeah, y'all are gonna freak out about the extended pole, but I've done it a lot of times. You need a little counterweight, if I'm being real with you, but as long as you don't, you know, take your eyes off it, it's sketchy, but it works. It's cool. Okay. Now it's just you know, beat the crap out of it and try to get it out. So she right there. That's just really unfortunate.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it is. Now that we're having just extra fun, let us.
You want to put the jack back under the trainer?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go up. I'm not sure. Pick a direction. Up. She free. Oh yeah. Well, all the magic happens apparently when you have the camera off. I was just moving stuff around and I went ahead and spilled my like catch-all pan. You know the thing, it had just the poo water in it. I think there's a little bunch of different kinds of oils and a little bit of coolant and a little bit of rust. It's all, I mean, it was just all over my pants and my feet. Garage floor's covered in it, so. Good morning, how's your day going? Cool. Let's see what I broke on this LS. I mean, this stuff's definitely been replaced. These valve seals look brand new, but those are not even beehive springs. That's kind of a bummer. I was honestly hoping to see some beehive springs at least. That does not have enough valve spring for what I'm looking for. Go ahead and add that to the list. Oh, that's not good. Just everywhere, and there's oh, what is this? Just got the oil pan off. Yeah, I think there's that's metal. That's all metal. And then up here, that's all metal inside the pickup tube. But then what is this? What's this little dude doing right here? You know? What do you think that is? Any guesses? I have absolutely none. That's fun. Okay. Bearing honestly looks fine. But every bearing I'm coming out right now does not explain that metal. Probably gonna have to pull the main bearing. I only got two pistons left to see bad rod bearings. So cross fingers. I kind of want to see one of these just real bad. Nope. Okay, but there definitely is something went through that. But it's literally not even bad enough for me to not use still. Did not spin a bearing. I was wrong. And honestly, the crank looks just fine. We knock a main bearing out of it. Makes me nervous about pistons. But see, if something, you know, say I was detonating it or beating the piss out of the top of a piston, it would have lost compression. It would have, but I wouldn't have necessarily made it into the oil pan if it was something off the top of the piston. Where's this metal from? All the rod bearings are fine. They're fine-ish. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We've got to go further. This is going downhill real quick. It's going downhill real quick. Even though it looks fine, it isn't. That is unfortunate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh indeed. I had my heart set on it being rod bearings. For one, I was wrong, which, that's fine. For two, I was really hoping it was rod bearings because it's the cheapest and easiest thing to replace, you know. Poured one out for the homies, kind of for the wallet, on behalf of my wallet. So on the LS engine, the middle main cap is the thrust bearing. I'm gonna pull that one first, because reasons. Don't worry, it's just breaking loose, it's not breaking. Pro tip, whenever I put in main bolts, I like to dip them in oil before I put them in there, because I mean they go up to like, I think it's like 85 or 90 foot-pounds, and that's a lot. And sometimes you get nervous, or I get nervous about breaking stuff. Put a little hole in there, makes it better. Come on. So I don't have my rubber mallet with me. Oh, and they are. Really wish I had my rubber mallet. Maybe I can use like the butt of a hammer. Oh no, we just use my ratchet as a hammer. There she goes. Good old, I love that ratchet. Good for milling things and counting. That bearing looks, it's definitely had some stuff. I don't know if y'all can see that right here on the GoPro. But it doesn't look excessive. Definitely some stuff through there. But I mean, we haven't found like a smoking gun. But that crank. I mean, I don't love that. There has unquestionably been junk through here. Like, I'm not really seeing anything that's excessively bad. Pretty alright. Thrust bearing is the worst, but still not what I would call a smoking gun. Not bad. There we go. Come on out of there. So again, I'm seeing evidence of junk going through there. not really enough for me to say like I need new bearings. No, these look not bad at all. Should we just ignore the last one? Oh, I was supposed to take that cover plate out. I'm gonna say that that's probably fine too, to be honest. Can't get that one out. If that's the spun one, that's gonna be real funny because I can't get it out. That's to take off the back cover. Basically, it's a massive mystery. I have absolutely no idea where the metal came from. It's a little alarming. You know, just not the news I wanted on this evening, this afternoon, this day at all, ever. Mystery metal. Cam bearings is up next, and that was the ones I was just completely dead set on completely ignoring. Who builds an LS and actually looks and replaces cam bearings? Like who does that? Checked, send. You know what I mean? Like who actually does that? I heard a chirp though, you know, which I was so sure was gonna be a rod bearing. I can't believe it wasn't. None of them are scooted. Granted, I didn't check the other side of it, but you know, when you spin a bearing, that chirp, chirp, chirp that I was hearing in a couple videos ago, usually is the bearing physically spun inside of its little holder. And so you don't need to pull both sides, you just look at one and you can tell. But I'm thinking that this is gonna have to be just a complete tear down, is kind of what I'm getting at. It's what it's looking like to me, which really didn't want to do that, if I'm being honest. Really wanted to avoid that at all costs. Really did. You hate to see it. It's got a single roller timing chain, which I like it to be better. The oil pump looks brand new. Like everything in this should be brand new, and it does. Why didn't it have better oil pressure? And what's the problem here? But I do think that these are I believe that they're floating rods. It appears that there are clips. I think these are floating rods. Floating wrist pins. That's good. Looking for some wins somewhere. I mean, you gotta pull. I gotta pull out all the. Oh man, I just feel like a guy can't catch a break, you know? Just not having the best luck here. Luck. Little luck. Ooh, there are some hefty chunks down in there. I mean, what kind of metal are you? Actually, you know what? These chunks of metal that I thought were there are not exactly free flowing. They're kind of stuck down there. Actually, literally all of them are stuck down there. But there's definitely oil there. So it's not as bad. The big chunks that I thought were big chunks aren't big chunks, is what I'm getting at. Big chunks are just bad casting. We're just gonna very lightly slap a few of them voltages in there. Here sounds like this feels like a good spot. That feels like a good spot. How about over here? Right there? Sure. How about over here? Okay. Let us rotate. Oh yeah. You know? Can I just grab and rotate? Can I do one of these? Oh, that's hard. Maybe if I grab from here. Oh yeah. Man. Just for the giggle farts. Let's see if this one looks any different than the other one. Stock trunnions, nope. Feeling defeated right now. Mostly because like I've owned this car for like a year and I've driven it like 11 miles, and I'm exaggerating the amount of miles. And judging by what I'm not finding thus far, it's gonna be a little bit longer. A lot longer before I get to drive it again. Here's the thing, if I pull those heads, I don't know if I'm gonna reuse like head bolts. So it's basically, if I pull those head bolts, I'm agreeing to buy ARP head bolts. Which I wanted to do long term, you know, but my wallet hurts. So we're just gonna, I think we're gonna just do it. These look like maybe factory. Light through it, good to go. Lots of light through it. Yeah. I'll check this on the other side, who cares? Just put it in there. What are y'all doing today? Appreciate you watching my video. That looks like doo-doo. Okay. I'm dragging my feet. I'm dragging my feet. What do you want from me? Why are you yelling at me? All right, well, it has been a couple of days here. Long week at work, and well, I'll just trying to be lazy and put this off. Yeah. Some of you folks with a keen eye may pick up on, I did a little beard delete, you know what I mean? Use some beard be gone, or as some other folks call it, you know, a razor. Really didn't want to open this engine up this far. I was hoping to. Yep. About that time, eh, Chuck? Oof. Head bolt hits the little steam port feller. We'll just, sorry, steam port thing, not feller. Easy. Oh, wrong size. You know, a little bit of organization would go so far, but ain't nobody got time for that. So instead of making time for that, I just take twice as long to do everything because I can't find anything. Now, truth be told, I have spent the majority of my years wrenching not in a garage. Usually I'm outside rolling around in the dirt. I like being undercover, you know what I mean, but even that's a blessing. So even though, you know, it's nice to be in a shop or a garage, you know, it's real tight in here. And theoretically I can work in the weather, but I don't because I'm lazy. I'm just happy to be able to work on the stuff. I'm just gonna say that. Grateful regardless. Also gotta say that to remind myself that I like this, because right now I'm kind of dreading it, you know? So if I just say, I'm grateful, I'll speak it to existence, you know what I'm saying? Grateful. Pretty sure that's gonna take a bigger ooga-dooga. I think, is it a 15? These are TTY bolts, and that you really shouldn't use an impact on them. Well, I'm gonna. I'm just not trying to give her all of them, you know. Can y'all, you can see me, right? Okay. It is really loud, and I do feel kind of bad. Because someone's door is on the other side of this. Maybe I'll do the break free. You know, I don't want to be rude, but I'm already kind of being rude. It's fine. What am I doing? Oh yeah. You know, let me just cheat. Work smart, not hard, right? And since these are TTY bolts, torque to yield, meaning that when you torque them, they have a degree torque spec instead of a foot-pounds, because they stretch. And because they stretch, you're not supposed to use them again. One-time use only. Some people can when you're super low buck, and I ain't mad at you. But the reason I'm pulling this engine all the way apart is I want to know, I want to have some confidence and some faith in it. So I'm going to put some good bolts in it. Why I brought that up is especially now that I'm giving her the Uyghurs on the way out with the, don't use these. Trying to be quiet for the neighbors. It's early. This head has a bunch of oil in it, so good old dog bed slushy catcher for the win, I'll let her drain for a little bit. Wow, that head surface looks absolutely perfect. But I mean, some of the cylinders are running a little bit differently. We're gonna show you in here, don't you worry, but I'm hoping to see that this thing was punched out. Cylinders look incredible, minus those scoring marks on that one. Okay. Oh, you want to avoid doing that with aluminum heads. All right. They're good except for the fact that they're also not good. We're getting some upward scores. Molasses type buildup on the top of these pistons. Like unburnt fuel, bad fuel. I think this reason this engine bit the dust was my fault. I do. I think it was my fault. But I'm getting a little nervous here. Never mind, that looks good. What, 1.0? I thought I was gonna say 0.040. Is that, it's definitely 1.0. No ring wrench. I mean, the cylinders do look brand new, but there's also some vertical scoring. Again, the cylinder heads look brand new, which is in line as they should be. Checks out. But it's nice when the stories do check out, And I do have some micrometers. I was hoping to not measure much, the wrong way to do it, but right way for me. I'll probably measure that head gasket to know its thickness, because I think I'm gonna want to know compression ratio. This has 243 heads on it, factory casting number 243, which is a good head. It is a higher compression head. It came stock in a lot of 5.3s, so it's not really an upgrade for that, but for LS1 guys, and what would have come in this car, 243 is an upgrade. It's a bump in compression, so this 6.0 this 6 liter might actually be an LQ9. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo out there, and there's just a gazillion engine codes, and I don't really usually like that. But a 6 liter, that's the 3rd generation, is typically going to be an LQ4 or an LQ9. You have to basically open it up to see what the difference is, and I don't know all of that. LQ9 is theoretically the better one, but it has a higher compression, so a little bit higher compression, a little bit more horsepower. I think this might have been an LQ9. I suspect it to have floating rods, which is only indicative of like a Gen 4 LS or like a Gen 3.5, which, without even looking up the build date of this engine off of that, I can tell you when it is. It's probably 2003, 2004, probably 03 to 05, 03 to 06, somewhere in there. The later end of Generation 3, which is the sweet spot, because it has the 4th generation internals, floating rods, easier to change around, and better boostable stuff, so. Oh, happy day, kind of. Heads off and seeing, and there's there. If you look at it on the head, you'll see a 1.0. It's definitely a point in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. We'll see. A little dot right in the middle, 1.0. To look up what that means. I'm expecting this to be 40 over, not 10 over. Cylinders do look pretty good, but there is just a little bit of vertical scarring there. Not really an issue, but shouldn't really be on a fresh engine unless it was maybe dry fired. But also, I'm seeing this paste. Smells like deck stain, so. But, I mean, head surfaces look fantastic. Block surface looks fantastic. Ooh, more of that gritty goodness there. So, anyway, looking good, but we gotta go further. Gonna have to pull these lifters real quick. take off the pulley so we can pull this front cover off and get out the cam. At this point, we're suspecting cam bearings. Not sure if I said this or not earlier, but at this point, we're gonna go down and look at the cam bearings, as I still believe that I'm finding bearing material in the oil. And so I'm kind of hoping it's cam bearings, because that would be the next easiest and or cheapest thing to replace. Never done it on an LS, I've always just center, you know, but this one may need it. But to do that, we gotta take off a bunch of stuff, so we're gonna keep ripping. But next up, let's pull these lifters and see what we got going on in there, you know. An 8 or E10? Ooh, you should really avoid dropping metal sockets in your cylinder walls. The more you know. Gentle, gentle, goes a bit faster. Gentle, gentle. Ooh, these are new lifters. Definitely looks like there's just been junk through this engine, which means everything's just gonna have to be cleaned. Also, this should really be done in a very clean area, which this is not. So all the more reason why we'll be doing a lot of cleaning. We will see, we will see. That looked like it had a little piece of metal on it. Just seeing the smallest, slightest wear marks on the roller, which is indicative of stuff going through there. It shouldn't have been through there, but nothing that I've seen on any bearing or lifter is really awful. No smoking gun. Looking for a smoking gun. These seem to be like cheap lifters. I mean, I don't know what they are. All of the wheels roll. I mean, nothing major, but all very minor. There's definitely been some stuff through here, though. Every single one's just got a little bit of stuff. Looks like a bit around the block in a really rough manner, mildly rough manner. We may be going entire cam and valve train, since it does not have beehive springs, which they still do look new and probably aftermarket, but they're going to be lower lift than what I'm looking for or wanting to be able to run. So I might be doing new springs, but if I do that, we got some decisions to make. That's what this video is for. Doing what we need to do to make the decisions. So it's going to be kind of hard to see. We can get a little bit of light here, but there's just focus. A little bit of wear. I don't even know if you can see it or not. Just a little bit of wear. All the way around them. On the rollers, look like just a little bit of something went through there. Otherwise, look to be in pretty good shape. Unsure if I'm going to reuse these or not. Well, I should really do that with WD-40. Should spray them down with WD-40 before I do anything. That would be the right thing to do. Let me go get some WD-40. I'm just trying to stare at it and see if it'll change its mind, but I don't think it's gonna. WD-40 is a great lubricant. It'll leave a little film, a little bit of oil, prevents corrosion happening where you don't want corrosion. Looby dooby. Oh. That's not doing it. How about this one? Oh, that's just all of it. Mega beef. Like literally put this one on full send, and this thing's heavy. That bolt's just gonna stay in there because I can't get it out, so. Forgot to hit record and went ahead and just threw this on, you know, on a socket with the massive Oguduga machine and tried to pull it out, and I marred the crank up a little bit, but I did get the crank pulley off, so. Was it that stupid of an idea? Still yes, yeah. Just gonna have enough of the juices? Oh yeah. little bit of silicone on there like there should be. Brand new oil pump, but it wasn't leaking. It's probably gonna go back on. I'm gonna wanna look up what oil pump this is after it finishes puking. M295, made in the US of A. We'll check that out. We'll Google machine that one here in a minute. But like I said, I do think I'm still gonna replace it. I believe that one was standard pressure, standard volume. And I'm really tossing that up because I wanna, you know, go high volume or high pressure anyway, but it's like $200, something like that. And there's nothing wrong. I don't believe there's anything wrong with this one. I think whatever pressures we were seeing that were low were bearing related. I mean, it wasn't awful. I could probably just run thicker oil. There was definitely no Loctite on those cam gear bolts, and they're supposed to be Loctite on those cam gear bolts. They are not torque to yield. In theory, you can reuse them. I probably will. But you always use Loctite on any of the rotating stuff. So cam and flywheel should also have that. Nice, new, nothing wrong with it, but single roller we might replace. I don't know yet. Okay, should just have cam retaining plate. And then the cam. Time for the bang stick. Try not to damage the hopefully potentially already damaged cam bearings. There is movement in that one. Oh yeah, we got stuffs. Hey, look, here's the specs. They're a little worn though, you know. That's interesting. 825. This is cool. There's parts on it. I'll try to put this in the other camera too, but August 25th of 2017. It is a 109 +3. There's a cam number there. Probably a custom grind cam. Not really a ton of specs, but there is some info that I can look up. That's really cool. Probably a custom grind cam. A little hard to see, but there's that front crank bearing, or main front cam bearing. Words are hard. On this front cam bearing, it doesn't really feel awful, but this ridge right here, this surface is gummed. It was grinding, and that's where that ring came from. That ring that I found down in the oil was shaved off of this. So that cam was walking for some reason. Maybe this was the wrong cam bearing. I believe this might need a narrowed bearing, or maybe that bearing just wasn't installed correctly and that it wasn't pushed in far enough. But either way, it is, the other side feels pretty nice. This is super rough, and that right there is our smoking gun. That was the issue right there. All right, after a little bit of digging, it looks like this does actually have a melling oil pump. I could tell it's brand new. I'm sure what I just ran through it was the first of it. While it does have little shavings through it, I'm sure that'll be just fine. But it's a stock volume, stock pressure, just a melling pump. But I like melling pumps. They tend to last pretty all right. Even though I didn't really love the oil pressure I was getting out of it, I'm kind of leaning towards not replacing it. Try to save a little bit of them dollars and cents, you know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna go ahead and replace the cam. Just off of the specs that I did have, which, I mean, we're rolling with, that I was given from the last guy. It looks like it's probably a carburetor cam intended for a truck. Maybe I'll save that for another project. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a cam in. I've got an idea of what cam I wanna run, but I am open to some suggestions as always. So just a refresher, this is a 6-liter. It is punched 40 over. That's what I was told, and I saw 1.0 on the top of the piston. That's actually 1 millimeter, which equals 40 thousandths, or technically 0.039 thousandths technically. It is a 6-liter punched 40 over essentially. I'm intending on just doing a cam, maybe some lifters, but overall I do plan on throwing a little bit of boost to this setup. Perhaps not a ton initially, but I do want to boost this engine, and so I want to throw a cam that can handle a little bit of boost at it. So I've got an idea. I'm a big fan of BTR, Brian Tooley Racing, and so I've got one I think I'm going to run with. I am probably going to chat with him, give him a call this week or a couple days once they're open. It's the weekend right now, but I think I will call them and maybe run my ideas through them and see if they might recommend something different, or see if they do stick with the one that I believe I'm going to go with for now. One I'm looking at is also going to require some different springs, some dual springs. So I do believe I'm going to do cam springs. Probably going to have to measure for some push rods as well. These are the while you're in there, but really I want to have this thing a little bit better dialed in for the tuning side of things. But I do believe that grind marks that I'm finding around the chamfered edges, or maybe even they weren't chamfered, but around the cam bearings, that's what I'm going to call was the issue here. I don't have a cam bearing tool, so I'm gonna have to grab one of those, removers and installers. You'll see that in the next video, or the next video on this project, I should say. I do want to get this rolling pretty quickly, as I need this car. I need to drive it. Like literally, I need it as transportation sooner than later. So I do plan on doing this as quick as I possibly can, but there's looking at a lot of monies in the parts for it. But you'll see that in the next video. We'll take it the rest of the way, just the bearings out, put some new stuff in it, slap it together. Might have one video before I slap the engine back in. There's some things I want to button up on it. I'm not quite sure yet. First things first, I got to get the parts ordered for it. But certainly we'll see another video before you see the Trans Am again. Beat this one into the ground a little bit. Thank you all for watching, but I need to bump up some views a little bit, so I need to try to switch it around just a little bit here. Anywho or what, this has been fun. Not that fun, because it's expensive, but I really like this process, and it was nice to see some of the things that were told to me confirmed. So maybe it wasn't so much of a bust, even though it's hurt. But we're gonna beef her up a little bit, slap some new bearings. I'm not really sure on the cam bearings and main bearings. We'll have to see. I think they look all right. I may peel them back off again and look just before I order all my stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna stop jibber jabbering. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I know, again, I've been running a lot. People don't like build videos a whole lot, the series, but I'm such a small YouTuber that I figure any video is a good video, or any video is a helpful video. So please like and comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas for things you think I should be looking at before I throw this thing back together. But as of right now, I'm thinking it's really gonna be maybe lifters, but for sure a cam, new springs. I'm thinking about buying some new piston rings to gap those, to get ready for some boost. I'm gonna do some new head bolts, ARP or the like, and then we'll kind of see what other little things I gotta button up into there. I've already got some different injectors for it. So we might have something we can better dial in on the tune, which is my main concern. I want this thing to be reliable. I want to be able to send my foot all the way down to the wood, or the metal, the end of all of it, and just be fine with it. Even though I will daily drive this car, I want it to be overbuilt. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode of Little Luck Garage. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. I appreciate y'all's support. Tell me how much better you could have done in the comments, and all of the comments are appreciated. I appreciate y'all, But anyway, we'll see you next time on Little Luck Garage. But for now, take care. We'll see you later. Little Luck Garage